It's the long awaited, highly anticipated Lab Review. We're your hosts.
La Ramsey.
Ari, and your girl Britt. Listen up, grab your lab coats, and head on over to the lab as we dissect today's hottest topics. Thank you all again for joining us in the lab. Let's talk Black women in luxury.
All right, come on, spend that money.
Fancy. I love these kind of topics. So, how do you guys feel about Black women in luxury? So, I guess I should rephrase that. Like when you see someone, a Black woman specifically in luxury, do you automatically think something illegal, or you think like, yes, sis, get it? Like, what are your vibes?
What do you mean when you say like in luxury, like enjoying nice things? Do you mean
Just like, like a nice car pulls up next to you and it's a Black woman. Do you automatically think, I wonder where she work at, or I wonder who her husband is, or
I'm always like, okay, I see you. You know, that's how I am. It's like so common where I am for people just to be driving nice cars all the time. Be like, okay, okay, I'm like, oh, what's that? Something pull up next to you, want to know like, oh, what is that? You see black people driving, and it's like, okay, I think it's becoming more of a common thing than we think.
But I have to ask: does it matter what the person is wearing, what their appearance is, their age? Does any of that matter when you're like, oh, okay, I see you?
for me, no. Like I just like to see Black women dressed up, period, like in the workspace. Like I don't think it matters specifically like designer, if that's what you mean. Like that doesn't matter. I know a lot of people with nice stuff or not flashy and they have nice ass jobs. So
Is it gender? Like if you see a young guy, let's say he looks about 17 years old, and he comes up in a Benz and he has real big, huge rims, do you wonder like, oh, what
Drug
he
dealer,
do?
pharmaceuticals.
I definitely think it's location because when I'm in the Atlanta area, like I don't ever associate it with drugs specifically. Like I mean, even though I know like a lot of them probably are.
I
I
was
might say
joking,
I
but you
take that.
just
I take that back.
stereotyped them.
I just
If I see it, I'm like,
I
oh,
take.
they're driving their parents' car or something like that. That's honestly what I'm thinking.
I would say like probably an athlete, but then that's already another stereotype. Like all Black people are not athletes per se. So I take that back.
Right.
But you gotta admit,
Yeah.
sometimes we do. We don't think we do
Yeah.
it, and I probably do it more so with the young guys than I do with the ladies. Because if it's
Mm.
But
lady,
I
I'm like, oh, that
feel
might be her dad's car.
well
Oh,
for
so you
young.
stereotyping. Why can't it be hers?
No,
Yeah.
I
See.
mean, young, like 16.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
okay.
that might be her parents bought her that, or
Gotcha. The age thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think age you probably definitely think is their parent's vehicle. With a African American versus a Caucasian person, you probably say, oh, their parents bought that for them. Like that is her Lamborghini or that is his whatever. But like I was saying, I definitely feel it's like location wise, just depending on what city you're in. Like different cities, you kind of
Hmm.
expect to see certain things. Like I don't expect to go anywhere in Atlanta and not see anything designer. Like it is a
Yeah.
given. Like
And
right.
that's kind of related to like one of the things I was thinking about is luxury being relative, whether it's to location, whether it's in how people what people measure as luxury, because some people have different levels of luxury. What can be like luxurious to one person can be like basic to somebody else. So
right.
I think luxury can be relative.
But
Um,
there is a whole hashtag on Instagram, Black Women in Luxury. If you ever get a chance to just follow that hashtag, and even Black Women Unboxing, I thought it was really dope. They just unbox all kind of things, but it's usually like designer Dior's or like iPads or shoes, whatever. Like, I think it's a really good page that this Black girl did.
so it makes me wonder, like, why is that necessary? Like, is there also a white girls unboxing? Do you know by chance?
I don't, I'm not sure if they have that. I never thought to look that part up, but I definitely feel like it's an area to, or I took it as an area to make you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you will be afraid of wearing your luxurious items with fear of somebody feeling like, how did you get it, or how did you obtain it, or you're being flashy. So I feel like it was created to be a safe space. Like, yes, you too can wear something nice and someone
Mm-hmm.
won't look at you as, doing too much, or whatever the case may be. Like, I know this one story that's on there was this lady, and I don't quote me verbatim, but basically she buys luxurious stuff for her daughter, and like her daughter would get like teased at school for having like nice stuff, and it's like that is so weird, like it should be the
Mm-hmm.
opposite or whatever. But she was like, her daughter wouldn't want to take any of her, wouldn't want to wear her good stuff to school because people would tease her for like, wearing her nice things.
I have seen other races doing the unboxing. Gay men,
Mm-hmm.
especially. There's one I follow in particular, and he unboxes his Louis Vuitton, all of his
Mm.
high priced bags. But he
Okay.
also comes back, and when he resells them, he talks about that too.
Oh, so
And
that's a
he
whole
does
nother
it.
flip side to it.
Yeah, he does it all over Europe. And you gotta think unboxing is it's a big deal now, but they're not just unboxing luxury things. You have the kids unboxing all of their Christmas gifts or whatever is supposed to be the hot thing for kids.
Right. I didn't know it was that big of a deal. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder what's the motivation. I know for some it's to get compensated for it.
Mm.
So on this one in particular, Black Girl Unboxing, hers is a safe space for Black girls unboxing, which is what I thought before I even read her commentary.
Um, so it's a little
So
deeper.
how, yeah. So how do we normalize Black women in luxury? Why is it that why isn't it more of a, and I think you kind of alluded to some of that earlier when you were talking about like the kids, like the girl at school, and kind of getting, teased about that.
Right.
What will it take for it to be less taboo, I guess?
I just think for starters, people could realize that it's obtainable. You know what I mean? Like it's not so far fetched. If you whatever your choice of saving may be, you could save to be able to buy what you want eventually. If you
Hmm.
maybe trade in that $5 latte a day, you got what, $25 for the week. So I don't think that nothing is unattainable for people. I think that if you prioritize and do things, you could work towards what you want. So
Hmm.
that's my first step to normalizing it, is to know that it's not out of your reach.
Luxury on a budget.
Yeah, you could be luxurious on the budget. I'm just saying, like I feel like majority of the people that I'm around, like all have what I would consider, I'm just gonna say, a decent career or a decent job. So there's people who have their different habits. Like my husband has his collection of items that I'm not gonna name, but he also doesn't drink Starbucks every day. So his money could go towards the things that he likes to collect. So therefore, like, if I want to collect something or make a purchase, it's equivalent to what he bought. He may not understand why I want to spend so much for that, but I also don't understand why he want to spend so much for that, like,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and vice versa. So to me, that's the first step. I don't look at anybody and say they have something that I could never get. Like if I'm motivated by it,
Hmm.
I'm like, I want that. How much is that? Oh, let me save for that.
Hmm.
It's my personal opinion.
And I guess I'm in a place right now with us moving so often, I don't even want stuff. So whenever I see, I'm like, oh, that's real nice. I would love to have that, but I don't want no
Hmm.
stuff. And then
Yeah,
also,
let
I
me get
kind
settled.
yeah, well, let me get settled. But I also have this thing. Yes, I can afford to buy luxury to some extent, but I can't
Hmm.
afford to replace it.
They definitely say if you can't afford to buy it 2 or 3 times, that you shouldn't get it,
Well, but you also
right?
can do insurance. I forgot about that.
Kind of going back to is luxury just material things? Is it experiences? Like, how are they
I think that's personal.
in this world? Hmm?
I think
And I
that's
think
personal.
that
Like,
depends on the person, but what do you think? What do you think?
yeah. Um. So for me, of course, like traveling is great experiences, and like I think I was fortunate enough to travel a lot of places when I was younger. So that I would like to one day afford my children the opportunity to see a lot of places over stuff. Can't have, they'll have so much stuff and nowhere to put it, but memories will last forever. So for me,
Yeah.
I guess travel would trump that.
I agree with you. Luxury travel, that's my thing right now. And of course, we're so locked down, can't really go anywhere. But Lord, when we can go wherever, I cannot wait. And I don't want to just go down the road, down the street. I want to get on a plane.
Yes. I have my 2021 already locked and loaded.
Uh-oh, what's that? Care to
My
share?
trips, sure. So we got a wedding in Jamaica, and I don't want to tell the month, right? Because I don't want anybody stalking me,
No.
right? But a wedding in Jamaica, a vow renewal in St. Martin, and of course, I want to take that trip to Costa Rica with my kids.
Oh, nice. Go back to
So
the
yeah,
motherland.
yeah, we got our three already situated.
Well, I don't have nothing because I'm too nervous to
Don't
plan anything.
don't go to Tulum because that's
Ooh,
all over.
oh, in
Tulum,
Mexico?
Mexico.
Mexico?
Yes. Well, I'm not gonna say don't go to Tulum. That's wrong. Don't use. I don't know what I should say. Like, don't use Airbnb.
Oh,
Like,
in
try to
Tulum.
stay some. Yeah, like so. Try to stay at like a reputable place.
What
I guess
happened in
that's appropriate.
Tulum?
So there's these stories going around on Instagram where these women were staying at Airbnbs. The host or the guys like let people in their Airbnbs while they were like sleeping, or it's a whole lot of stories. Let me find a story so I could. You guys continue. Let me find the story. Find
I know we stayed in some Airbnbs just last year. Ari, we took that trip to Milan, and I do a lot of research though before I go anywhere. And thankfully Airbnb has all of the reviews, so does VRBO. And we lucked out. We had a nice family. But I remember when we first were riding in, it was graffiti all over the place. I said, "Oh Lord, I done brought my friends to the hood. We could have did this back in the States." But it was nice.
out.
It was clean. And that was probably the best girls trip.
So I couldn't find the exact Tulum article, but from what I can remember, basically it was a group of black women who traveled together as friends, and they were just expressing how they felt unsafe towards the end of their trip at their Airbnb. A lot of sketchy stuff, random maintenance men popping up, and when they try to reach out to Airbnb, it wasn't. They didn't offer them a lot of help, and then once they got back and they posted their story, they realized that this has happened to a lot of people, and it's just basically saying be careful when you're traveling to these third world countries in these Airbnbs. You should probably try to use reputable hotels or whatever, or make sure you read the reviews.
So it wasn't like just one isolated incident with a certain Airbnb. It's like a lot of different Airbnbs that this has been happening in.
At least two at this one particular one, and then like some other ones. But yeah, like these women were saying, yeah, that happened to me too, and it's happened to somebody else I know. Like it seems a bit too common that it don't need to be
Mm.
this common, you know?
Oh, I agree. I'm just wondering like if it's just a set Airbnb or if it's like just kind of widespread.
I think it's widespread.
Right.
One thing when we were planning to go to Milan, just reading the reviews, people would say, "Oh, they have cameras, so you may not want to stay here because they have hidden
Mm.
cameras, or it's not hidden, they
Mhm.
see it." And so those kind of things make me uneasy. And if I
Mm.
do see something like that within the comments, then I'm like, "Oh no, I don't want to stay there."
Exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, it's great to know that they're there, but I don't want anyone watching me or to the point where they don't feel like they can trust me. And they give you ratings. They rate the person that stays in the houses too. So that's why I know I was probably a bit anal. Like, oh Lord, if La say one more thing about this Airbnb, I was like, I don't want a bad review. We got to keep it clean.
You got to recycle. Put it in the right recycling bin.
But I think that's something
Yo,
I
you would
learned
not
living.
stress me out like that on vacation, ma'am.
But
Oh,
that's
you
something
don't
I
understand.
learned
It's a
in
major
Europe.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
a
Huh?
big
major thing
thing.
in Europe.
Europe
Yes.
recycling is king.
Oh, you
So,
you said recycle. I thought you meant like just cleaning up my space in my
mm-mm.
vacation room.
No, mostly recycling. Where you stay in your own private room, I'm not in there. And I think
Oh, okay.
if you think about it, I don't know if you guys ever been on any kind of conferences with the other races. They might break stuff. In fact, they break a lot of stuff when they get overly drunk in college. But they'll go back
Mhm.
the next morning and they do a whole sweep. It's like they weren't even there. I'm like, I know you broke that chair. I saw all that glass out there. I know y'all broke that too. Next morning they clean it on up. I'm like, okay, okay. I was like, you can break some
Well, at
stuff.
least they know to do that. You
And
know.
So while we're on a discussion of travel, what are some places or countries that you guys would like to visit one day?
Oh, I want to go to Greece. Um,
Oh
I want to go to
yes.
South Africa. Um, I want to go. There's a whole bunch of places I want to go to.
I
well,
told you Africa is on my bucket list for the next 3 years.
and Ari,
It's
you've been to
continent.
Africa, right? You've been to Ghana?
I see. Yeah, I said I wanted to go to South Africa, but yeah, I've been to West Africa and Northern Africa, and I'd love to
Africa
go
is a
back.
continent. Africa is a continent, and specifically, he would like to go to Egypt. Put a pin in that.
Who wants to go to
Take a
Egypt?
pit of that.
Bay.
Ah, okay, come on, babe. Well, I would.
Bay is
Hmm.
turning. Bay's turning 40, and I told Ari that I would like to
Where is
take
Bay right
Bay
now? Yeah.
in the back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna let Bay know about the
Okay.
trip. Yeah, Bay better not listen to the first episode, huh?
We should have just been like mac and cheese said,
he
Egypt
ain't
is
know.
it.
He'll know that's who we
All
talking
right,
about.
he would catch that too. He would catch that
Catch
too.
these teas. Where you taking
Yeah.
me?
Speaking of Mac, have y'all tried the Chick-fil-A Mac? Did y'all like it?
I'm
Real
on this
quick,
weight.
I
Well,
know.
I'm on this Weight Watchers, so
Okay, so
I
yeah.
yeah,
have tried it though. I have tried it in the past, and it's not bad.
it looked
Right, that's all
good.
I'm saying. The little one loves it.
I like,
Oh,
Favorite
as
thing to order.
fast food mac and cheese goes, I think it's at the top. For what I've tasted.
Mhm.
well, but
So,
it's
they
surely
got
on
like
the
a multi.
other. That's on the other spectrum of luxury, though. Y'all supposed to be at the 5 stars, having filet mignon.
Well, that is the
Luxury is
5-star fast
relative.
food restaurant.
Hmm.
You're right. Luxury is relative. Having good health is definitely a luxury. What I realized
Absolutely.
after having some health issues this year is it is definitely a luxury. So I can't wait till I make it to my goal weight so I can eat whatever I want. I want the luxury
I
to
know.
eat whatever. Including that Chick-fil-A mac and cheese. And ungrilled nuggets.
Listen.
I
Well,
know,
what I
right?
do, look, what I do is I just get a kid's meal and I get a 4-count, so it's real small, just so I can sample everything.
They got that for the mac and cheese too?
Yeah, you get a small mac and cheese, 4 regular nuggets, or 4 regular nuggets, and an unsweetened tea. It's a pretty good
Just
meal.
get something else.
But when I go
I'm
on
just saying, when
vacation,
I'm
I don't want no kids meal.
listen, y'all, I
Yeah.
follow this lady on Instagram, and she just came back from vacation with her family. Talk about luxury 5-star. They went to Jamaica. Just the rooms, the suite, the breakfast, the meals, the help. Like, oh, that's my level of travel one day.
Oh, did you say help?
They had help,
You did say help, right?
but the help was like her mother-in-law. It was
Oh. I thought,
There you
come on,
go.
you know when you watch Real Housewives and all of them, they go out of town, they have the butlers, the maids, a full housekeeping and chef.
Yeah, no lie. When I was younger, I wanted to be a celebrity babysitter.
I wanted to be a nanny too. I wanted to be Diddy's personal assistant too. I would have went and grabbed them
You want to be
cheesecakes.
like, what's his name? Farnsworth.
Girl, no.
Mm.
No.
Look, she said I would have went
He
and
was
grabbed them
Diddy's personal
cheesecakes.
assistant.
No, he can keep the umbrella, Ella, oh, no.
I'm cracking
But
up.
but when you think about luxury and you're talking about traveling, when I travel, I'm not thinking I want to be able to enjoy the foods. I'm not going to be on restrictions.
And I was
But
probably
you know
like
what
11.
though? If I'm thinking about like luxury and traveling, I'm not thinking about Mexico. And that's just me. No offense to anybody. No offense to anybody who
You
may
better
be.
not
I
do
mean,
near
Mexico
another
is.
Taco Tuesday, okay? Near another Taco Tuesday.
I didn't say I didn't like Mexico. I'm just saying, like, when I think of luxury traveling, that's not
No, I,
necessarily like a place that I consider like luxurious. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's
Unless you
cool.
have top dollars. Like when wherever the Braxtons went that one year in Mexico, I was like, "Oh, I would love to be there, but I know I couldn't afford
Mhm.
to go."
Well, I feel like that's every country. Every country, to me, has a place that you just wouldn't visit and a place that you would. Like, I'm sure there's places in.
Once you get to Europe, it's pretty cheap to travel. Unless you want to spend money, then you spend money. But I'm trying to get over in the Pacific. That's the part. I went to California once, but I want to go beyond that. Now I think I want to go to Hawaii because I saw their election
Mhm.
Yes.
results. So I want to go there.
I
Really?
Australia.
believe they are
I thought
still.
Hawaii went red.
No, girl, they are very blue.
No, they blue.
That's what I thought. That's why I was surprised when I saw it red.
Alaska was red. They can keep that.
That may be what I'm thinking about. Well, let me ask you this because I think this may be helpful for people. I know it would be helpful to me when you mentioned about knowing whether Airbnb or BRBO was more popular in the certain areas you were going. Like, how do you identify that?
So you can do the search when you're going in there. So vrbo.com or airbnb.com. But if you don't want
Hmm.
to second guess, there are plenty of black owned, black led, and black ran blogs
Hmm.
out there and websites that tell you
Hmm.
where you need to go. I don't know if you guys follow a lot like the Black and Abroad and those
Hmm.
sites.
Hmm.
Those are really nice, just to
Yeah.
see where they're going. And they're not just going
Hmm.
to the regular trips that we mostly see people taking. They're going to
Right.
India, they're going to China, they're going all over. And so
Hmm.
when I look at those, I'm like, oh, yes.
The people do such a good job of being detailed about what was good, what was bad, what areas they would recommend for us, for black people, what areas may not be so great. So I think it's a great if people are interested in traveling like that to kind of follow some of those pages, like you mentioned about the Black Women in Luxury. So just kind of following. And anytime you have an interest to learn more about it, I recommend following the pages. That's always
Definitely.
cool.
But one thing I wish we would get to a point, and I think we're getting there, Michelle Obama definitely helped move us in that direction. There are a lot of black owned luxury brands that we don't really hear about, and I would love for
Hmm.
those to become a household name just like Gucci and Burberry. And they're all around the
Yes,
world and not yeah
cause
yeah. So I'm like, okay, come on
cause
now.
I am waiting on the Glamaholic to do her drop. This is her 10th anniversary, Mia
Mhm.
Ray, and she has the Glamaholic. I can't even say it right. The Glamaholic lifestyle,
Okay.
like duffels
Hmm.
and totes and passport covers and toiletry bags, all that good stuff. You guys should really follow her. She's dope. But yeah. So speaking of
I also,
black-owned luxurious items, check her out.
and one thing that I noticed, like when the whole Birkin bag situation came about, like I noticed on social media, different pages were posting, these are black businesses that make luxury bags, support, you know what I mean? So, but do you think that
Jim
they hold
Jones
the
did that as
same
well.
weight? Who's
Jim
that?
Jones said
Jim
that.
Jones?
Jim
Yeah,
Jones
it's
was
been
like
all over social media.
tag some black
Yeah,
owned business
but
bags. I want to
my
see
question
make something shake or
is,
something.
do they hold the same weight? Like, are people gonna be
I
checking
feel
for it
like
like they checking for,
they don't hold the
the other
same weight
brands?
now. I feel like they don't hold the same weight now, but I feel like eventually it'll get there. Like Mia Ray for her Glamaholic bags. I'm sure 10 years ago nobody was checking for her bags, and now sis can't even keep them in stock.
I don't know who that is,
So
but I'm
you
not
gotta
into that.
follow
So
her. The glamour. You're gonna love
I'm
her
not into
bags.
that.
They
Like
so cute.
I rather spend my money on travel and
I know, but you
concerts.
don't want a bag
And
to take with you when you travel.
when I
You want your
travel,
suitcase to fall
depending on
apart.
where I'm going, I like my travel log.
Yes, me
Your
too.
what? You like your what?
So Travelog,
Travelon.
it's like a theft repellent bag. It
Yes.
has
Okay.
slice repellent, so they can't cut it off. They
RFID.
can't. Yeah, they have an area where, like, nowadays, they got real creative with how they can like get your information without even stealing your cards. Well,
Yeah.
these bags
Oh
have a
yeah.
certain part of that you put those in, and they
He
can't
doesn't.
even like get that information. So I honestly, and I guess it would depend on where I go. But like if it's somewhere that I know I'm going to be doing a lot of on the go, I'm grabbing that. If I'm going to go to a nice dinner or something
But
like
is it
that, maybe
cute,
I would
sis?
want to have a nice bag.
Girl, we
Hmm?
don't want to
Is
be
the bag?
cute. People steal it.
Right.
Because when
Listen,
you
I'm gonna have
think
my
about
duffel
it,
wrapped around my neck.
well, I mean, yeah, but I
They're gonna
won't
have to
be
take
too
me and
hurt.
the duffel.
Nobody's gonna want to steal my travel line unless, of course, they've
Right.
seen me pulling out stuff out of the travel line. It's just a basic bag, but
Basic.
and if you think about it, especially now
Let
during
me Google.
COVID, when you're going into all of these museums and things, they don't even allow you to have big bags, and so the travel line is very helpful.
And what else I think about that? You know how they have like the theory that like white people stay rich because they don't spend their money on name brand, like they're dressed very quote unquote basic, and but those are the main ones with all the money. Not saying that if you got travel on you got a lot of money, but I think that it, like you said, it draws less attention than if you walking around with a Birkin bag
But
or a Louis bag
sis,
or
But the
I ain't going
Birkin
nowhere.
bag, but the Birkin bags are named after a rich white lady that looks real basic. She put her Birkin bag with her Chuck
exactly my
Taylors.
point. That's exactly my point. Wouldn't know it. Filthy rich.
Yeah.
What you want to say about the
Yeah.
bag, Britt? Did you look up the travel
Not a
line?
damn thing. I did, real basic, but
Well, I will say they come in different styles now, different styles and colors. Like you got
I
variety.
mean, I just feel like I guess if I, to me, if I was purchasing the travel on, obviously it's for the theft protection. It definitely is not for the looks of it. But
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like I just want to like my pieces. Like I want to like my stuff. Like
I
whatever I
get that.
have, like I want to like it. Like if I'm gonna spend money on it, I have to like it.
Oh
But I
no, now
like mine. I
I
like
don't.
my travel on.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure y'all
But
like
I
a
feel like
Birkin bag.
I'm
No,
a gadget
I
person.
don't have.
Yeah.
I can't talk about what I can't afford. So I can't elaborate on the
But
Birkin.
like if it's something that I want, I'm going to get. I'm going to get it, but I mean, like I want to make sure, like you said, I like it, but it depends on the situation, and I think you have to be aware of where you're going for
Well,
that
like I
instance. So I'm
said,
just talking about when you're traveling abroad and like
yeah,
you're
like
out and about a lot.
if
That's
I'm shipping my suitcase, like of course I'll get one that is. I wouldn't put my nice designer on the shipping thing to ship. What's it called? This what the hell? The conveyor belt, whatever it's called.
Oh, you mean checking your luggage?
Yeah, like if I'm checking in my luggage to be shipped on the plane or whatever, like I wouldn't put my good luggage under the plane. Like my
No.
good stuff would be what I would carry with me. So when I mentioned the Glamaholic, like I'm not putting my duffel under the plane. Like like that's
Yeah.
a carry on.
a carry on.
But that
Right.
goes back to my I don't want nothing I cannot afford to replace. And I've heard horror stories of people that put their luxury items in their checked bag, and before they could even get it from baggage claim, someone had
It's gone.
taken their bag out, pulled their
Yes.
stuff out, and put
That
it
happened.
back. They put it
That
back.
happened to me and my sister. I mean, this is like when Moet first came out. This is a long time ago. Like we had like champagne, and she just put it in her bag to go. Girl, the champagne was gone. Like it was, it wasn't even nothing worth taking.
So they
back.
just
Was
was
this
going through the
pre
bag, just
was
taking
this
stuff
pre
out.
9/11 or this was after 9/11?
This was pre 9/11, so it was a while ago.
Okay, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah, that was stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was stolen. Hell, it's been plenty of times we went places and stuff just comes up missing. Like that was the norm, especially going certain places. They were definitely going all through your bags.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, I
Does it
know
matter
one.
who's paying for the luxury?
Oh,
Huh?
you mean whether or not it's a boo?
Right. Does it matter who's paying for the luxury?
Um, no. Like so, I don't know. For me, like I don't really ask my husband for stuff. Like if I want it bad enough, like I probably just purchase it myself.
I hear you.
Like, and he'll even say that too. Like I'm like, you didn't buy me anything. He was like, girl, cause you If you really wanted it, you would already bought it. Like, so obviously,
That's
you
true.
probably don't want it.
I don't know. I've gotten to a point where when it comes to birthdays and things, I prefer to give experiences right now because like I said, we got more than enough stuff that we had to really get rid of and go through, and I still have stuff that I really should get rid of, but it's the sentimental value. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
ugh.
I think that's where I am with my kids, like wanting to give them experiences versus birthday parties. Like I feel like they have had enough parties. And I think that's
Yeah.
going to happen for us sooner than later because next year we won't be here for Braylon's birthday. We'll be out of the country.
And that's one thing that I think is important, especially like when you're younger. Like you talked about the lady, and she had the daughter, and she had all the
Hmm.
name brand stuff she didn't really want to wear it to school. I really wonder, like, how much is the child like really wanting all of this, or is it the mother who's getting this? And would the child want other things, like experiences? You know what I mean? Because in my mind, what I remember the most growing up, I remember very few gifts that I got, but I remember trips and things we did together as a family more
Right.
than brands and things like that. Like I pretty much, not like we were rich, but my parents pretty much gave whatever we wanted within
Girl, y'all was
reason.
rich.
We
Yeah,
wasn't
y'all were
rich.
middle class. I mean, y'all were
Y'all were middle
What?
a
class,
whole middle
honey.
class, especially in
I
that
thought
neighborhood you grew up in.
Yes, honey.
what?
And you had two parents.
And you
My
can,
parents
yes,
divorced.
that's a
Parents.
luxury, sis.
Yeah.
Huh? What you
I said
say?
everybody has two parents.
And you were right there by
My
that
parents
school.
divorced. Hmm?
I
Two
don't
parents in
care.
the same household. My dad, my dad
No, I
ended up
didn't. My
passing away.
parents divorced. My
At what
parents divorced
age?
when I was 9. When I was 9.
When they get their house?
Oh, they had the house before they got. They had that house before any of us were born.
See, that's what I'm saying. Middle class.
That is luxury, sister. That is
Girl,
luxury.
I was born in the projects. What you saying?
See, that goes back
Listen, you
to
are
my
not from the
point
project.
about
I was.
luxury being relative. That goes back to my point about luxury being relative, and not like I don't want this to sound bougie because I'm not bougie. My mother was a high school teacher. Teachers don't make a lot of money. She had 4 kids. Okay, 4 kids. My daddy had a pretty good job though.
Can we mute
I'm not
her?
gonna say
That's
anything
all.
'cause I don't want to.
That's all. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And in fact, even though
We
both your parents weren't in the same household, they still had a house. You know, having a house is a luxury. And I can't wait till the day when we can get more settled and get a house. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
goals 2020.
I feel like having a house is. I mean, I grew up in the brownstone, so it was, it
Brownstones
was.
cost a lot of money.
They sure do, especially the one that we
And
grew
you're
up
talking
in.
about me. You're talking
I'm
about
just
me
saying.
who grew up in a
I'm
ranch
talking
style
about
house that was built in the 60s.
my mama.
Okay?
She bought the house in the '80s or whatever. Back then, it was a while
By
ago.
that point, they were probably worth several hundred because now they're worth in the
In
millions.
the millions. I always wanted a brownstone. I also wanted a penthouse
Yes, my mama always talks about my great aunt having one in the 60s, I guess,
in New
in the
York.
70s in New York. hmm And how she would go and visit, and she was like, "I wish you had never sold that and kept it in the family."
That's true.
And because it was in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn
Brooklyn,
is
stand up.
gentrified out, honey.
I haven't
I'm
been.
sure it would
I
have
mean,
been
I
worth
feel so
a
bad.
lot of money.
Well, and they try to
Is
push
that
people
way?
out too, but we know about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I resent that y'all call me
I'm
fat,
going in
but
Middle
January.
I'm
class?
gonna let it go.
That's not
Um,
wrong with saying you grew up middle class. If I was,
And
I
what
would
is
have
I
been.
wrong
don't
with
think I
that?
would.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You need
I
to
would
like
say
embrace your luxury. There is
yeah.
nothing wrong with being middle class, sis.
We're
So
middle class
what?
I would,
now. I'm proud to be middle class. I'd rather be up there in the 1%.
Bro,
I would consider it upper lower class.
no,
Not
Ari.
back then, Ari. I'm sorry.
Not back then. No.
Ari, I'm
No.
sorry. But no.
Hell no.
Not in the 80s and the 90s. Sorry,
Oh.
sis.
Okay, cool.
Hell, and they had 4 kids. They was booming. Cause ain't no way. See?
The struggle, I'm sure,
Yeah,
was real.
I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but you still had it going on.
Yeah, nothing's perfect, all right,
I will
but
say I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
don't be ashamed
Hmm.
of your
But
luxury.
Mm-mm.
I don't. It's not that I'm ashamed. I just never viewed it in that way, and that's
It's
why I think
okay,
it
sis.
goes back to my point earlier about luxury being relative. Because when you've been exposed to certain things,
Of
like
course.
I never viewed it in that way that y'all are viewing it, and I guess that just goes to the situation, and different experiences. But I'll own it now. Okay.
Yeah, and I
But that
even
takes me
think,
to my other question.
I'm bracing myself.
I
I'm
was going to
ready.
say that takes me to my other question of, does luxury buy happiness? Does luxury equal happiness? Because I
Well, we
know
all
so many people. Y'all answer it first, and then I'll talk.
no, of course I don't feel like luxury by happiness. I think happiness is internal. You create your own happy. And we've learned that with celebrities. Like to us, they have the whole world and they're still unhappy. So
Mm.
like I feel like that's a given. Me right now today, like hell yeah, I would say that it would buy me some happiness.
Well, and I think of
Because a nanny and a chef and a maid and a won't be too far fetched for me. It'll definitely make me happy.
well, and I kind of think about it in this way. I had a pastor once talk about Whitney Houston and kind of like what drove her to her end was when she first got her first Grammy, her first this, that feeling that she had. For her, she wanted to get that high, and she went to
Relive
drugs.
that.
Yep, and she went to drugs to try to get that, and then she kept going to stronger and stronger drugs because there was no way that she could produce that level, that high again naturally. She couldn't figure it
Right.
out. She wasn't just excited in what she had because she had reached the top, you know. And so he
Yeah.
explained that that's what drove her to where she went because she was constantly trying to feel that way again. She could afford it all and she ended up losing it all, and you know,
Right.
so I
But
guess
she was troubled.
she was troubled, but she was troubled the more and more she went and the deeper she went. And it's not just her. You hear that about other celebrities too,
Hmm.
especially those that
Yeah.
OD'd
It's never
or
enough.
it's
It's
never
never enough.
enough. It's never enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. And you're thinking that having this fame, this money, that they are going to replace certain things, and so you keep trying to achieve more and more and more and more, and then you
Right.
realize it's not about those things. It's like Britt said, internally, am I happy? What makes me happy is my happiness coming from within me.
Right.
Right.
Well, ladies, I know we're going to have a lot more opportunities to discuss these things, especially since we're still in the prime of the election. We're getting ready to
Mm.
continue on through our holiday season. And once we
Yes.
make it
Absolutely.
through the holidays, then we get ready to start thinking of what can we do. And so I
New
cannot
year, new you.
New Year, New You. I cannot
Mhm.
wait to discuss these things with you guys. To our audience, thank you for tuning in. You can take those lab coats off for today and hang it up until
Hey,
the next time. But please make sure you tune in.
To
stay
the
tuned.
lab review.
And cut.